well, Tim Sheens taking his place alongside Ian Watson. Tim Sheens is the director of rugby here, and Ian Watson is the head coach. And they're hoping for better fortune in 2016 than they suffered in 2015. So it's going to be the Saints in the blue jerseys who will get this game underway here at the AJ Bell Stadium tonight. Memories of last Friday and the torrential downpour and the mud bath we had at Wigan. Now long gone. It's a cool, chilly night here in mid-February. But the pitch firm and dry, and it should give us a really, really exciting game. We hope. They're underway. Jack Owens gets this game in motion, and it's the Salford Red Devils who will have first use of the ball, and they have to make a decent start to this game.
Well, they've done better than they did last week. They dropped the ball from the kick-off, and that mistake put pressure on them immediately. You see Justin Carney using all his power and strength as he does so many times, and they're going to concentrate and focus, you feel, being error-free, getting a good kick in and making sure they muscle up defensively and put a statement of intent and a little bit of doubt in the minds of St Helens.
That was a decent early drive you saw there from Craig Kopjak, the Welsh international. And Tommy Lee, the skipper, is at dummy half. He gets the ball away to Gareth O'Brien. His kicking game tonight might be important. And that just touched the bottom of the post. It just made it skip dead. It's not the best start for him. That will be brought back to the 20-metre line for the restart for St Helens.
A bit too strong, Eddie, but it does slow the game down a little bit, as I said. First set of 6, a good kick, and now they can put something into the defence.
Well, they were disappointed with their defence last week.
Well, Eddie, I'll tell you a man who's going to have to aim up this week. It's Michael Dobson, wearing the number 7 jersey for Salford. I would imagine he'll be targeted. This man, Atalia Vea and Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook, will be running down St Helens right at Salford's left all night. Michael Dobson will have to stand up and put that experienced body of his in front of those attackers.
Kieran Cunningham watching anxiously on as Luke Thompson takes that tackle just on the halfway line. And there was Luke Walsh, and he just gave the ball short to Kyle Amor. Last year's top meter maker for the Saints. Jordan Turner. And it goes wide to the skipper, John Wilkin, who hoists it high. O'Brien safely underneath that, pouches it about 20 metres away from his own line.
Well, it's an interesting move for Salford to have Gareth O'Brien at fullback, because for large parts of last season, in my opinion, the best player was Niall Evans, who played fullback for them. He's on the bench. He was last week, and he is again tonight. Maybe he'll come on and play as a winger, or maybe have a greater impact when he makes the field. But I suppose the advantage that Gareth O'Brien has is that he can pass in the back line on that occasion and takes the ball to the line.
And he's very vocal, apparently, as well, and he will organise them at the back. That's the hope of Ian Watson, anyway.
And the trade-off, though, with that, Eddie, is how strongly he can return the ball and how strongly we'll be defensively. You're right to say that. Communication and passing will be strengths because he played in the halves. Returning the ball and defending might have question marks against his name.
Here's Josh Jones against his former club. He was fed there by Robert Louis, formerly with North Queensland Cowboys, the standoff half. No doubt he's looking forward to next week in the World Club Series. Oh, that's a knock on in defence, and it's 6 to go, and Dobson knows it's a free play, floats it wide. Johnson is underneath it, and Greg Johnson gets the first try of the match from the free play, from the mistake by St Helens in defence, just the sort that the Salford Red Devils required. And that will delight that man, Ian Watson. Greg Johnson, he missed last week, but he played in 6 of the 7 in the middle eights, scoring 5 tries in the process on the end of a pinpoint kick across field from Michael Dobson.
Well, what a sensational start for the Red Devils. A high lofty kick from Dobson, who chases up, follows. Pressure from Robert Louis, no penalty, no infringement, and Michael Dobson on hand puts a wonderful kick into the corner. Just a simple drop from Jack Owens allows the opportunity to Dobson, puts it right in the path of Greg Johnson. Fabulous start for the Salford Red Devils.
Well, for Salford to have any chance of winning this game, I think they needed to start the game well and score first. That's a perfect beginning here, really, in this fixture for them. You know, for the last 3 years, Eddie, I've been to this ground, and at the start of the season, they've played against the Saints. On each occasion, I've tipped the Reds, and they've been embarrassed. Maybe tonight they'll get a little bit closer.
And that is A successful kick from Josh Griffin. He kicked one goal at Hull last week. He's kicked one goal here tonight. There's a mistake from Jack Owens.
Well, Jack Owens, he jumps high, tries to twist and turn his body, and it bounces off his chest, and Michael Dobson, well, that's why he's paid the big bucks. He puts it right in the path of Greg Johnson.
But how quick he reacted as well, Dobson. It was his bomb. The minute that was spilt, he was thinking, collect the ball and keep an eye out for any options. I thought he was crazy kicking it, even though it was a free play.
Well,
I thought
that's
he
a free player, Brian. That's what he's got in his mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Just threw the shackles off and put in an inch-perfect kick.
Perfect start then for the Salford Red Devils. Just 8 wins and a draw last year. 11th on the ladder in the middle eights. But they went on to win 5 from 7 to preserve this Super League status of theirs. And that's why they're here now in 2016, taking on the Saints. And that was a quick play, the ball. Just what they needed, and they're very much on the front foot here.
Good yards
the
from
Red
Salford.
Devils.
Good yards. Ryan Lannon trying to play the ball quick.
Dobson gets it to Flanagan. Flanagan then finds Josh Griffin. Griffin is bundled to the floor by Jordan Turner. And also in there very quickly as well was Luke Thompson. Another high kick, another tester, but this time Jack Owens is up to the task.
Well, Salford have let everybody know what they're going to do. They're going to kick high and pressure the receivers. And Jack Owens limping a little bit in back play. He'll be keen to make up for those early mistakes. But some good work from Murdoch Masala, Ryan Lannon.
Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook playing the ball. He's operating in the centres tonight. Loose forward last week for Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook. It shows you there are no such things as specialists these days, are there? They can play literally anywhere.
Well, he's a very versatile player. He's got a lot of pace, a lot of agility. And he's put his hand up. He's played there a number of times in his career, and I think he'll do a sterling job tonight.
By Gareth O'Brien with the opportunity here to run the ball back. A good chase, though, by St Helens, led by Morgan Knowles, the young man filling in for the injured James Roby. They have high hopes of him at Langtree Park.
And I'm sure Kieran Cunningham and James Roby have spoken to him during the week and talked to him about keeping it simple, go with the dominant voice, use your instinct. He's involved in that tackle. And Mark Percival, the penalty. A little bit more field position for Salford.
Well, they're getting some quick play the balls, and there's another one where the Salford side, the St Helens side, haven't retreated, and Salford have capitalised here now, getting more possession. Good start to them here, first 7 minutes. And lots of ball in the opponent's half. They look dangerous and they look confident. They need to release the devil inside them to give themselves a chance tonight.
Well, Phil mentioned earlier on the fact that he's turned up here to watch this match a few times in the past and hoped that Salford will perform. In their last 4 visits here, the aggregate score is Salford 26, St Helens 174. They really have been put to the sword on this ground in the recent past by the Saints, but they've started ever so brightly indeed, and that's Benny Murdoch Masilla, who plays the ball quickly there to Lee, and here's a chance, I think, for Kopczak, and I think he's barged his way over. He certainly has. Punches the air with delight as Craig Kopczak. What a start this is. What a start after just 8 minutes. Salford Red Devils 10-0 up, kick to come from bang in front of the sticks.
Fabulous start. Craig Kopczak opens his account for the Salford Red Devils on his second appearance, home debut. And the St Helens defenders trying to second guess, assuming who's going to get the ball. And it's a low diving attempt from Craig Kopczak. Good technique. And Lamatasi too tall, too high, can't get underneath the ball. And Craig Kopczak simply places the ball down on the line.
Well, the captain of Wales in last autumn's internationals, Craig Kopczak, formerly with Bradford, Halifax and Huddersfield. And Josh Griffin adds the extras. And would you believe we have just watched only the 19th try for Craig Kopczak in this, his 237th game.
Well, I'm sure Barry McDermott appreciates seeing one of the big men go over, but you've got to give credit to the 2 runs that came previous to Craig Kopczak. Ben Masilla went hard, held up short, but before that, young Ryan Lannon drove the ball in like a senior front rower, Took a lot of stopping, and that got that whole set rolling forward for for Salford, and put St. Helens on high alert.
He's a good player, Ryan Lannon. I've got a lot of respect and admiration. Relative of Gareth Hock, runs with an aggressive style. And as I said, Ben Murdoch-Masila last week was probably one of the highlights, along with Josh Jones, in that heavy defeat to Hull FC. But those two players never gave up.
And this is Lannon's starting debut. First time he's had a run-on appearance in the Super League. A new 3-year deal signed this week. And you're right, Barry, he is the cousin of Gareth Hock, and he has a little bit of aggression about him as well, like his cousin.
Well, I was in the tunnel interviewing the players before the game, and most of the Salford players turned up, walked past me, they had a smile on their face, they looked relaxed, they looked ready. And Ryan Lannon, I shook his hand, wished him all the best, and he couldn't have appeared any more relaxed. So it's a great start for him and the Salford Red Devils.
It is, and they're really harassing St. Helens here. Every time they've got the ball, they're getting stuck in, and there's a knock-on here by Jack Owens.
I think Mark Flanagan and Ryan Lannon really working overtime.
Just tries to lose it, though.
He tries to find the floor, Jack Owens.
Turns over and he appears to lose the ball.
That's all he does. Just lost it clean. There's no hands in there. He actually surrendered, and the referee called a surrender tackle. So the defence are allowed a little bit extra time on top when that's called, but he's just lost that ball cold.
Not the start that Kieran Cunningham was expecting, or St. Helens, but Salford hitting them with everything but the kitchen sink.
Great when this happens in a game, and when history has gone against Salford. They conceded 40-odd points in their first game, and then they've started at home in their first home game like this. Well, that was delight Tim Sheens.
Robert Louis, what a great decision from him. And Robert Louis going into the box as the try of the opening 12-11 minutes of this match. What a start for the Salford Red Devils. The defence just melted away. And Robert Louis, the man who's replaced Rangi Chase in this side, he lost his place in the North Queensland Cowboys side last year as they won the grand final. But he was in the playoff series the previous 2 years, which ended in heartbreaking defeat for the Cowboys. Hasn't he set things alive here?
Well, this is what Salford failed to do last weekend. Put pressure on their opposition while defending. But watch the run of Robert Louis. There's lots of people and bodies in motion. And he has a good instinct. He knows when to pass the ball, when to keep hold of it. And a good try. And haven't Salford started well, Phil?
Well, understandably, the St. Helens defence were obsessed with Ben Murdoch-Masila, and I'm not surprised, because he would take 2 or 3 men to stop him if he got up to full speed. But they forgot to remember that it's the man with the ball who's the most dangerous, and he managed to dumb it, read the situation, use his instinct through the gap, and now if he can convert this, I think 18 gives them a great chance. 12-0 in rugby league, not with over an hour to go, but 18 will make this a massive challenge. And I'm fascinated to watch Jack Owens, because you need to be very mentally strong when 2 of your errors have led to tries in the opening 15 minutes. A great challenge for me now for the rest of the match.
Great chance here for Michael Dobson to change the kicker early, because this kick from the other side of the field, and Dobson with the left foot makes it 18 points to 0, 12.5 minutes on the watch. And look at Paul Wellens, who has never been short of a word or two to shake up this St. Helens team in the past. He's part of the coaching academy now they have at St. Helens, and Paul Wellens is laying the law down. He's furious.
Holy moly, the veins in his neck were pumping out, and he knows that it's been a terrible, dreadful start for St. Helens.
I guess it's not just about the 18 points. So many of the Salford play the balls have been that fast, and that's unusual, that they've lost a physical challenge. There you see 4 men making sure that they won that battle.
Well, they've got the words of Paul Wellens ringing in their ears of the Saints.
Might want to rethink their scrum defence as well, Eddie. They started Luke Thompson was standing out there. Robert Louis is a man who's strong and can run the ball. His eyes must have lit up. So much space around him, and Luke Thompson struggled to get across.
And here is Louis again. He's content to take them on at every opportunity.
Well, just a word on Robert Louis. I mentioned to him about Tim Sheens, and was it a good thing he was going back to be working with Tim Sheens? And he said, listen, forget about Tim Sheens. It's Ian Watson. He's a half-back. He's really helping my game.
Dobson finds the ground with this latest kick through, and it bobbles and bounces its way through. We have Huddersfield against Wigan tomorrow night. live on Sky Sports 1 at 7:30. And there's a triple bill for you this weekend because we're going to the south of France on Saturday to have a look at the Catalan Dragons against Hull. We'll be on air at 5 minutes to 5. The game kicks off just 5 minutes later.
And I'm not surprised, 18-0 down, that St Helens have sent on their big gun. Alex Wormsley with the number 8. He's made a difference so often in the past for them, and his team do need sparking back into life. A fast play of the ball from him, players offside, that's a penalty almost awarded to Alex Wormsley for his run, and St Helens will now get their first chance to attack while still being 18-0 down.
This is the Wormsley run that produced a few problems defensively for Salford. He gets to his feet quickly, does the big man. And he plays it quickly, and that's why they're now camped inside Salford territory.
This St Helens side is going to have a huge say in this game, and they will come back and they will hit Salford with everything they've got, and believe me, that is plenty. The question is, can Salford deal with that? How much resilience will they have? How much desire to defend? Forget about the 18-0 lead. You got to defend like it's 0-0 here, and you're heading towards last minutes of the game.
St Helens have got 3 more tackles remaining here. Here is Alex Wormsley. He's driving to the line, and Wormsley gets over. Does he get the ball down?
Well,
I think he has. He has. Oh. Richard Silverwood was perfectly positioned. Wormsley thrown onto the field off the bench by Kieran Cunningham, and his impact has been immediate. His run drew the first penalty for St Helens, and he's at the end of this drive towards the posts. St Helens are on the board. It's taken them a quarter of an hour to get there, but they're on the board now.
Well, here's his run first of all. That's the first touch of the ball he's got. He knocks a player off, earns a penalty for his side, and Alex Wormsley, for 15 minutes, has been sat on the sideline saying, "Get me on, coach. I'll show them what to do." It's a relatively laboured pass. He wanted that pass off the floor. Just look at him with his arms out saying, "Give me the ball, son." And he carries 2 players over. Ryan Lannon, who's had a good start to the game, can't do anything about that. Well done, Alex Wormsley.
Yes, well done, Alex Wormsley. The change in St Helens immediate after he came off the bench. Or was it the words spoken or shouted by Paul Wellens that has brought this change about? They're on the board. That's the most important thing for Saints.
I think the most disappointing thing for both teams at the moment is their inability to defend their own try line. If you get near there, you're able to get over it, and that will have to change. The winners are the ones who can defend their own try line without conceding points. So far, neither have been capable.
Well, I'm going to correct myself there. I think it was a bit harsh on Morgan Knowles. I said that Alex Wormsley, with his hands out, was asking for the ball off the floor, but what he did is he attracted Tommy Lee and gave that time and space to the big fella who scored the try.
So they are back in possession are the Saints, and that's the big man, Lamat Tazi, who was here at Salford last year taking the first drive in, second from Wormsley. Now they go back down the left channel once again with Tazi, and he's brought to ground by his former teammates. And long down the right-hand side, collected by Gareth O'Brien. Good chase, though, from St Helens.
An early kick, Eddie. They kicked on 3. They made Gareth O'Brien chase back, pick the ball up, and the point that Brian made about his kick returns not being as good. But what you need to do is you need to back that up with good discipline. They failed on that occasion. Richard Silverwood saying offside.
Yeah, not standing square. Saints at the play of the ball, and he's spot on. Luke Thompson was to the right-hand side. Just a quick word as well about my old mate Steve-O. He's not with us this week. If any of you saw him at the matches last weekend, you'll know the lad's in absolute agony. He's got terrible problems with his hip at the moment, and might need, and probably does need, an operation. He's watching at home, I'm sure, in London with his feet up and hopefully with the painkillers. And I bet he's enjoying watching this, because he loves the underdog when they come and have a dig at them.
We've got them again on the short side. Oh, the pass hasn't found the man.
He'll also be enjoying his old mate Tim Sheens' involvement in this game, I'm sure.
Well, Tim Sheens, a former front rower. Mike Stevenson was his hooker. We're hoping that Steve-O isn't in too much pain. Perhaps on the painkillers. not the liquid form we hope.
Okay, I spoke to him yesterday. He's in agony, the lad. But Tim Sheens looks a little bit better than he does at the moment, let me tell you that. And he must be delighted the start that this team has made. Tim, the director of rugby, Ian Watson, the coach, going perfectly according to plan at the moment.
Okay, ball, wait, exit.
Well, I wonder if he can get the ball to the centre here. It's going to come back out. Robert Louis, you can see the number 11 for Salford. He'll be a couple of passes away from this scrum if he can get the ball to him. He does run with incredible impact.
And there he is, Murdoch Masala, Tongan international in the 2013 World Cup, and a penalty here because Luke Walsh was all over the big man, and
he soon walked away. Luke Walsh, I don't think he fancied that one.
He looked up quickly.
I think he was asking somebody to hold him back.
No Rob Burrow, is he? Robbie Burrow gets stuck straight in.
Oh, no danger.
Now, would you be tempted here, gentlemen, to take the 2 on offer?
Yes, I think I would. I think you'd almost bank the advantage that you've got in the opening quarter. He does run strong, and over on that far side, I was looking forward to the battle with Josh Jones and Mark Percival, 2 centres with incredible quality. Kieran Cunningham talking about the quality of Mark Percival, warranting an England selection in future, and I can't disagree with that argument, those sentiments. I think he's a quality player that will only get better with age.
We're midway through this first half then, and a half that has gone completely Salford's way so far, and Dobson here just about 20 metres, maybe a tad more, but bang in front of the sticks. Kicks the penalty. 2 more points to the Salford Red Devils total. 20 points to 6 now.
But Saints about to change the momentum again. They brought on the big fella, Alex Walmsley. Andre Savelio's warming up. They're trying to counteract this man. Ben Murdoch-Masella trying to play that ball quick. Gets a push and a shove. And Luke Walsh thinks, no, you win.
So here comes Phil Joseph, who's made his appearance off the bench. Phil Joseph, this is his 9th different club. More clubs than Brian Carney carries around in his golf bag.
Better than carrying around shovels.
He only carries 2, I've heard, a big one and a little one.
Quick play the ball from Salford's causing all sorts of problems. Justin Carney now taking it forward. No relation, Brian, though. I think we've made that plain in the past. No relation to Justin.
No, brother of Brett.
This is Joseph again. Gets Salford over the halfway line. The big men down the middle are causing St Helens all sorts of problems.
They're the quality of the chase here on the back of this. They're going to challenge as many kicks as they possibly can. Look, it's gone high and Jones has almost got to it, but brilliant footwork by Swift. Again, they're trapping their opponents 10 metres or so from their own line, and then they've got a nice defensive line set. They're finishing every set. In fact, they've had the ball 11 times, but they haven't made a mistake yet in possession. Great control of the ball, good control of the match.
Talavay will take it forward, but only as far as those 3, Lee and Kopchak amongst them, and also in there quickly was Josh Griffin. They know the danger that the big man poses, and here's another of the big guns. It's Alex Walmsley, gets the ball away in the tackle brilliantly.
Hasn't he made a difference since he got on? Really injected some enthusiasm, and we glossed over it really quickly, but what about the skill from Adam Swift to catch that ball, turn on a sixpence, and a kick that's received by Gareth O'Brien on the full.
So he plays the ball, does O'Brien. Carney once again bringing it forward. Tackled by Lamatazi, and also young Morgan Knowles. And one of the great players of the Super League era, Adrian Morley, in the stands here at the AJ Bell Stadium, watching as his former club, one of his former clubs, Salford, have this great lead against the St Helens side that is one of the glamour crosses of the Super League, there's no doubt about that. But Salford really getting stuck in tonight. Murdoch-Masala again, and Wilkin all over him. The referee's patience held this time. Louis hoists a high kick again. That's got hang time on it. Bona bounces off his shoulder. And here is Phil Joseph. And Joseph going for the line. Surely not another. He's very close, you know. He is very close. And the referee, I think, is going to hand this upstairs for the first time tonight to video referee Phil Bentham. No try on the field. He says it's short, Stuart Cummings. He was very close to the action, though, Stuart Cummings. Richard Silverwood. Stuart's not far from the action either.
I think he's fairly confident in this decision, but there's a lot of bodies around there, so he just wants to make sure. He doesn't think that he's got the ball over the line, and he said it was short. And certainly the initial look at that is that we've got certainly Jack Owens is underneath the ball, underneath the arm, so he'll do well to get the ball down from here. It's still short of the line. We can see the ball. I presume he's still in possession. Well, his hand's off the ball right now anyway. He's lost the ball. It's last tackle, so we should get a handover to St Helens 10 metres out, but it's certainly no try.
Well, the high kick is very special for Salford.
Is this a penalty, Stuart, for Jack Owens?
Well, I don't
against Jack Owens, I should say.
Well, you see him pulling on the arm. There's nothing wrong with that. It's up to Phil Joseph to keep possession with that. There's no sign of a ball steal, actual hand on the ball and the ball coming out. I think it'll just be a handover.
Well, we know it's no try. This will now confirm it.
Aren't they cranking up the pressure, Salford, though? Every time they get down here, really asking questions of St Helens. And Phil Joseph, unlucky. Good work from Jack Owens to prevent him putting that ball down.
And you're right, Stuart, it is just the handover on the 10-metre line. That's where Saints will play the ball. And here comes Greg Richards, who's out there on the field now for the Saints. Oh, and Salford too quick out of the blocks. Relieving penalty, this for St Helens.
Well, there's a few. They're too keen, they're too eager. Salford trying to get up and restrict the metres that Saints are making. They're enjoying, what is it, 24 minutes of this game, and they've been in complete control of pretty much all of it.
Walmsley once again for the Saints.
See, that's so unlike St Helens and Alex Walmsley. He's hit the defenders and dropped to the ground. They're a completely different side to the one we saw just a week ago when they played at home against Huddersfield.
Andre Savelio keeps those legs pumping.
A great young prospect, Savelio, with yet another Salford connection. His dad, Lucchini, played for Salford in Super League 1997-1998. Walsh will dab the ball with the outside of the boot, and it will turn the defenders around, but Carney is there to clear up the danger, but a good challenge by Swift on the charge, looking for a mistake, helped out by his centre partner Mark Percival.
Such an underrated player, Adam Swift. I think because Tommy Makinson's so spectacular over on the other side. When he scores a try, you really take note, but Adam Swift made that defensive read and stopped the big man, Justin Carney.
And he takes some stopping, doesn't he? Justin Carney. He does. Oops, that's loose. Oh, that's very well collected, though. Will McCarthy, Scarsbrook making sure no progress is made forward.
Well, now they're in trouble. Now they're in trouble out there. The end of the set there, after that pass. This is the first time St Helens have contained them in the game.
So Lee, with a decent kick, but retreating. Jack Owens is able to pick it up and will run this ball back with vigour across field as well. Chased down, though, by Murdoch-Masilla.
The second row really putting a stint in. 26 minutes. A player of that size and that mass, you'd often see him rotated, but it doesn't look like there's any signs of him giving up, enjoying his night.
So the Saints coming forward again. Louis McCarthy's card, but as soon as he received that ball, though, Josh Griffin was all over the top of him. Now chance again for Richards. He escapes the clutches of the first, can't get away from the second. It's Murdoch-Masilla again, with help from Flanagan. High off the boot of Walsh. He was hit late after that went. Could be a case for a penalty here, no.
No, the referee likes it. It was a good take from Gareth O'Brien under pressure from the hooker. But Murdoch-Masilla...
Interested to get Stuart Cummings' opinion on that.
Well, I think that's a late challenge. He could easily have pulled out of that. It wasn't dangerous, it was late.
So they escape there a little bit. They get away with it to Salford.
You know, I don't think we've seen St Helens settle into this game yet, Eddie. I think whatever Salford are doing to them, they're running it harder, playing it quicker, but the Saints haven't been able to adapt to it. With 27 minutes of the game gone, you wouldn't often say this about St Helens, but they haven't settled in and got anywhere close, I'm sure, to imposing the game plan that Kieran Cunningham would have come up this week for them.
I think you're right, Brian. Last weekend was all about the two Lukes.
Look at this.
Great defence from Salford again.
Look at this. They turn the ball over on the kick on the St Helens try line, and they're back there now on that first tackle. Tremendous defence from Salford. Ian Watson said he wanted them to defend better this week than they did last week in the opener. He certainly got his wish.
Inspirational defence. The three kick chasers, Sean Long and Kieran Cunningham, they know they're in a game. I wonder whether they expected this.
Adam Swift is quick, and he turns O'Brien, but O'Brien got a hand to him and just managed to ankle tap him to the ground. Josh Griffin finished him off. Here is Luke Walsh now. They come down the right-hand side here with Turner. He finds Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook. He is grounded by Dobson. Wants to get up and play the ball quickly. Does eventually. Here is Turner. Now it's with Walsh. Crossfield kick from Walsh. This is dangerous. Very well played by Carney.
Wonderful.
Who will turn defence into attack immediately. He's away, is Carney. Oh, great stop. He has support with him. He's waiting, Walmsley.
He's offside. He's got to be able to try.
Sin bin. 10 minutes in the bin. Luke Walsh makes the tackle from an offside position.
You ever need evidence that I'm not related to Justin Carney, go back to the start of that play. What a take, what a run.
You can't underestimate how much skill is in this. To catch the ball above your head, both feet off the floor, then he puts the accelerator down. He beats man after man after man. You think he's fluffed it up, you think he's messed it up. He manages to find the offload. And from this quick play of the ball, I talked about the two Lukes, and I was talking of Luke Thompson and Luke Walsh. And the first one, or the second one, is now in the sin bin for 10 minutes.
Well, this is belief from Salford because they haven't taken the two on offer. They're running this. They know they have the extra man. The ball finds its way to Johnson, but it's a knock-on. I bet now they wish they might have taken the two.
Well, what a shame. Let's not forget, although they're not getting points, I mentioned it a few times, the pressure they're cranking up on Saints. It's just quick hands from the centre, Josh Griffin, who's trying to find his winger, Greg Johnson, the speedster. I wonder whether Ian Watson hoped and wished that instead of Justin Carney, as strong as he is,
well, this is
the
what
ball went to the other side.
I mean, is there not an argument to say that that could be a penalty try? There was no doubt he would have scored had Walsh not tackled him.
Well, John Wilkins actually next to him, Tommy Makins is next to him, and he was onside, so there is some doubt there. I mean, Salford were probably odds on at scoring at some point, but, you know, the referee's got no option but to just sin bin and give the penalty.
So Walsh beginning 10 minutes in the bin. I think he'll be back then before half-time, so Saints will try and see this half out that has not gone according to plan with 12 men, but they do get the penalty here.
Not only will this help, Eddie, this penalty, there's also the break that Adam Swift made just preceding Justin Carney's break. That will give them hope. They went down, they marched Salford down 90 metres of this field. The warning there for Salford, you repeat some of the lessons from last week against Hull, you're a bit loose around the middle, the St Helens side will punish you. And plenty of time left in this half for them to do that.
So Saints will come again, the 12 men, and Kyle Amor will try and get them up to halfway line, but he fails on that occasion. Well, was that forward to Savelio? The referee says no. There were great calls for a forward pass from the Salford supporters.
He certainly times his run well, Savelio. Line ball, and Kyle Amor with his second carry in the set of 6. The forwards need to get back involved. Just less than 10 minutes or 8 minutes until half time. Need to go back into the changing rooms with Summit, Eddie.
Melbourne Knowles just weighs up the options both ways. Left and right, goes into centre field down the left to Savelio, gets away from Logan Tompkins. He can't get away though from Robert Louis. Ooh, that's an untidy play, the ball. Referee allows it to carry on. The kick towards the in-goal area is palmed back. Still on the last tackle, Jack Owens. Oh, not the best kick from him. Tried to dab it behind the defenders. And it was Josh Griffin who was the first and the quickest to react. Here goes Greg Johnson now.
Savelio.
Shoulder charge, yeah.
No. Savelio showing he's not just a ball carrier. Gets his body in front of Greg Johnson. Nothing wrong with that tackle. Stewart.
Probably just got away with it a bit front on rather than any rotation of the hips.
And the arm was coming around. Felt it though, both of them. Kick deep from Louis. That was inside the 14-metre mark, but doesn't make it. Goes down the middle of the field. Is picked up by Jack Owens.
It's good play that, Eddie, but you've got to back your fitness here now. If you're going to kick earlier in the tackle count slightly, you've got to hope that the territory is backed up now with some good defence.
Makinson goes down, first tackle. Dobson and Logan Tompkins in there with the challenge. Here goes Adam Swift again.
Well, that's 3 of the 6
next
gone.
week, by the way, Adam Swift.
Sorry, there's 3 of the 6 tackles gone. St Helens without Luke Walsh. We're a little bit bunched in the middle. 4 of the 6 gone now. Have they got anything left in the last 2?
Let's see. Kicking slightly early. Deep, and Greg Johnson will just hang on to this. We've got plenty for you to have a look at on the Sky Sports website this year. The Phil Clark 5, the top try scored this weekend. On Monday, Barry and Terry's biggest hits, legal or otherwise, on Tuesday. And the naughty step, everyone who is up before the beak this week, on Wednesdays. So far, nobody treading a thin line, disciplinary-wise tonight, although we do have Luke Walsh in the sin bin for more of a technical offence.
Well, we've got our first big hit.
Another line break. And here goes Murdoch Masilla. He delays the ball to Carney, who brushes one out of the way. He gets it to Reynolds. And Reynolds this time won't be denied. What a great try from Salford. They have scored some belters. Luke Walsh off the field. Saints down to 12. Spaces all over the shop for Salford to exploit. And Niall Evalds, their top try scorer of last year, with 19 in all matches, a career best, has given the end of this first half a dream look about it for the Red Devils.
Well, St Helens all over the place. Look at the overload of numbers. And the big fella, Ben Murdoch-Masilla, with good takers, finds the space, finds the wingman, pops it back inside. And Niall Evalds opens his account. So many numbers on that right-hand edge, and the big fella just goes, early pass.
Well, are we looking at the Leicester City of Super League? Is that the Jamie Vardy there now levels?
Are you saying they'll win the league, Phil?
Well, I've said it for the last 3 years, and this is the first year back off them.
You've said that they'll win.
Too soon.
You've said that they'll win in this game, but you've also said they'll win the league. What say you?
I think at this stage, I'll back them to win it here. Unless...
Are you saying Tim Sheens is the Claudio Ranieri of the utility?
Yes, yeah, the Tinkerman rather than the Tinkerman.
Well, Leicester were 5,000 to 1 at the start of the season. I don't know what Salford's odds were. We didn't get anything like that. But Sheens and Watson, Ian Watson in particular on the training paddock, has come up with the goods all right in this first half.
I can help you out there, Eddie. To win the grand final of the Challenge Cup, Ian Watson's Salford Red Devils were 3,500 to 1. So not even close to Leicester's 5,000 to 1.
That's the double. That's for the double. By the way, you've, I'm sure, enjoyed all the tries that Salford have scored here tonight, particularly if you're a neutral. I know the St Helens fans will not agree with me, but the neutrals watching this will no doubt want to see these tries again. You can, of course, on full-time on a Monday, but you will be able to see all the tries scored this weekend in the First Utility Super League online immediately after the full-time sirens on Sunday. So you'll be able to watch them all again on Sunday online, on Super League full-time on Monday at 10.
Picking up on the point you made there, Eddie, about a neutral watching this game. When you tune in and you see Salford's record again, you've got to go back to 2010, before Marwan Kukash was involved in rugby league, for a Salford win against St. Helens.
Here they come again. High levels, Justin Carney. They're going to be in again here. They're going to be in again if he gets the ball away, which he does. Try on the field though. Marwan must think that all the horses have come in first at the same time tonight. The millions he spent suddenly have come to fruition. Is this a try though? They have a try on the field, Stuart Cummings.
Yeah, they're just looking for an obstruction. I think it says Robert Louis comes on the final run, and that's the problem there. Does it put him off? I think he's actually...
It's Dobson, isn't it? Dobson doing the decoy run.
Does it affect Makinson making an attack? You'd have to say that he stops and has to check himself. I think that you'd have to say that that's an obstruction.
Doesn't he carry on though through the line, Dobson?
Well, he goes through the line, but he's run across the space between Makinson and Carney, and that affects him going in for a tackle.
No try from you, Stuart.
Well, hang on, look at this. They're looking at the grounding.
What do I know?
They're looking at the grounding. It's Phil Bentham with the green or red light. Looks like it's going to be given this. And it is. I think the fact that he carried on through the line, Stuart, has got him off the hook there, Michael Dobson. They can't believe this, the Salford Red Devils fans. They cannot believe it. 30 points to 6. Kick to come. It should be 32-6. What a first half this has been.
I don't think there's many people in the ground that can believe how Salford have played. You watched them play against Hull FC last week. They couldn't attack, they couldn't defend. I agree, Stuart, that's an obstruction.
I agree.
But what a glorious try. And lovely footwork from Robert Louis.
Some of us know last week, Cristando's try at Leeds had an obstruction involved against the Leeds. You know, it wasn't given, and on this stage here, I'm not sure that Tommy Makinson would have stopped Justin Carney. Anyway, had he not had that player in front of him, Salford are just red hot.
Look at that step from Robert Louis. Yeah, I agree. The more times you look at it, the more times you see the obstruction.
The issue here is that he's not actually running to block a player, so there's nothing to do with getting through the line. He's actually run behind his own player, right in the line of sight of a defender, and that's why it should be obstruction.
Well, it wasn't. It was given, and Dobson's added the extras. It's 32 points to 6. We have just over a minute left of the first half, and let's just put this performance into context, because prior to tonight, and they still haven't, by the way, Salford have never beaten St Helens on their own ground. It was 52-6 here in this corresponding fixture last year, round 2. It was 38-0 in 2014. It was 52-10 in 2013. It was 32-10 in 2012. All to St Helens. They're looking for more here. They're looking for more. Just could not get that pass away, George Griffin. Here is Tommy Lee. Louis. Dobson pitch it up. They want to kick down the line here because they've lined themselves up. It comes to Johnson. It's passed. It went backwards off Griffin. Play on. He loses the ball forward. Oh, and Saints will breathe a sigh of relief. It could have got much, much worse.
Well, Saints are in free fall here. Kieran Cunningham is watching from the sideline thinking, my side have been opened up like a tin of tuna. What is going on?
Well, you'd think that the kit men have put the wrong strips in the wrong dress rooms here, wouldn't you? Because it's almost St Helens-esque, isn't it? The way in which they're playing the ball quickly, keeping the ball alive. Look, just now you could almost group the St Helens players. They're stood in a huddle behind the play of the ball, and they're delighted, I think, to hear that Hooter to put them out of the misery.
Hooter sounds. Kieran Cunningham off to the dressing room for the biggest half-time team talk of his coaching career. And Marwan Kukash, he would look at that scoreline and he would say, wow, where has this been for the past few years? What a first half. Who would have predicted this? Johnson, Kopjak, Louis, Evans, and Louis again. Walmsley with a consolation on a quarter of an hour. And the Salford Red Devils are ahead by 32 points to 6 at half-time. I hope we've got enough time for John Wells to pick the bones out of this. He and Brian coming up next. Well, what a warm-up for St Helens against the Roosters next weekend for St Helens. And it's now, it would appear, Salford's match to lose in this second half when you look at the half-time scoreline. And Ian Proctor, who has the best records of anybody in the world of rugby league, has been searching through his record books at half-time. He tells me the last time that Saints conceded 30 in the first half was the magic weekend 2013. They were 30 points to 6 down to Wigan at the Manchester City ground. They lost 42-16 in the end. In the greater Manchester area again tonight. They don't like the air in this part of the world.
Well, this has been breathtaking from Salford, and we saw a picture of Adrian Molly as we see Kieran Cunningham, I'm sure, sending a message down and saying we need to tighten up, boys. Adrian Molly came up with his young son Leo, saying how much him and all the Salford fans where he was sitting, how much they were enjoying the energy, the enthusiasm, the skill, the prowess that these Salford Red Devils are playing with tonight. Nothing to do with the fact that he's retired and they've got rid of the dead wood.
No, we were a bit unkind, weren't we, when we asked him why is it happening this year and not last year. Look, there's a long, long way to go, not only in this match, but in this season. But on this form, the form that they've shown in this first half, Salford will rattle a few cages this year, and they're looking to get on the scoreboard early at the start of the second half.
Just really positive signs for Salford. I would imagine they felt very let down, very deflated after the performance last weekend, and to respond in the fashion they have just bears well for the rest of the year.
Yes, they'd be delighted. Ian Watson, Tim Sheens, and here they come again. The stretching out and I think he has scored it. This is unbelievable. Quite frankly, unbelievable. A great start to the first half, an even better start to the second half, and Salford with a 30-point lead. As I say, it's theirs to lose now.
But it isn't as if it's just one player who's created it. Here's another mistake by St Helens. They haven't turned up with the right attitude tonight. They've underestimated their opponents and they look to be made to pay for it. Logan Tompkins, the hooker, the man who picks it up does really well. He runs and he delays that pass. He's got another player outside in Robert Louis who holds off the defenders and then he puts him into the hole and invites him to reach out for the line, grounding it on the white stripe. And 4 more points and I'm sure are going to become 6.
Well, Phil, I'm just looking at the reaction of the fans behind the sticks, just in front of where Adam Walton put that ball down. They're delighted with the team's performance, and I was lucky enough to watch Adrian Morley's last game in the shed, as they call it, on the right to our commentary position. And there's some very passionate fans really getting behind the side tonight.
Dobson here then, he's kicked 4 from 4, a 100% kicking record from Michael Dobson. Oh, what have I said? That was possibly the easiest. And he's pushed it wide. It might not matter at the end. He will be hoping it won't.
Well, another reminder, as if Salford or St Helens need it, that if you make mistakes near your own try line, Salford are going to make you pay. Look at the delight on those fans.
Doesn't it bode well for Super League as well that Salford can host St Helens here, and we've been disappointed in the past. Phil referred to it in the first half, and you have to see Paul Wellens trying to rile up a side that I've tipped as champions this year. I thought St Helens, with the additions in their squad and the competition for places, would lift the trophy at Old Trafford. Well, they'll need a markable improvement from now.
And that won't help because there is a strip in the tackle, so penalty goes Salford's way.
Well, you know I've tipped Salford, Brian, don't you? So just...
You might have heard 1 or 2 pieces of industrial language when that try was scored by the Salford Red Devils. If you did, our apologies for that.
Well, just going back to Paul Wellens, his gesturing, his body language was, to me, suggesting he's saying, what are we going to do about this?
Well, a great offload from Murdoch Masilla to Evalds, and he plays the ball to Tompkins. Here is Robert Louis. He then finds Dobson. Dobson goes wide. Good hands, great hands from O'Brien, and also Josh Jones to this man, Greg Johnson, who scored the first try of the match. Struggling to get to his feet. You play the ball to Gareth O'Brien. In it comes to Dobson. Dobson then to Lee. Lee a short ball to the latest to George Griffin. Tompkins. Dobson changes the direction. Tries to go in between two. Televe and Kyle Amor pull him down. Tompkins trying to burrow his own way through to that Salford try line. That's the turnover, but they turn it over, the football, just a metre and a half or so away from the St Helens line.
Well, Eddie, you did an excellent job in putting it in context, just how heavy this defeat is in favour, or this victory would be if they get it in favour of the Salford side. It's May 2010, the last time that they managed to get anything out of St Helens. They need to tidy up those, play the balls.
Big question, Barry, is what is St Helens going to do? 30 points behind, 35 minutes on the clock. Is a penalty will help them get out, but what are they going to do with the ball players that they have, Luke Walsh, the coaching staff that they have? What are they going to put together to try and get a rescue point here at least?
We've all played, Brian, the three of us for a long year. When you turn up with the wrong attitude, I think it's very hard, if not impossible, to turn that around in a game. Once you've gotten yourselves into this situation, it feels the same way.
But it was the match that the boys are talking about, 2010, 15th of May. We were there at the Willows, the old ground, when Matty Smith's hat-trick, the only one of his career so far, helped the Salford City Reds, as they were then known, to a 42-34 victory. Bill Arthur on the sideline. What on earth has Kieran Cunningham and company said during that half-time break?
It was all about the fact that that first 40 minutes was simply unacceptable from the St Helens point of view, from the club's point of view, from what the club stands for, from all it has achieved. And there's more coming their way by the look of things.
Yes, there is. That's Adam Warner. He just lost his footing there. Back to you in a moment, Bill, to see what else was said. Might be too little too late, to be fair. This is Tommy Lee. 10 metres away from the line. Tompkins spins the ball into the arms of Robert Louis. He looks a player, doesn't he? And George Griffin takes the latest tackle. Look how close they are again, Salford, to that Saints try line. Louis dabs the ball to the in-goal area, and Adam Swift just runs the ball dead. Right, Bill, back to you.
It is unacceptable. Saints will not stand for it, and they have 40 minutes to redeem themselves after a shocking first 40 minutes. But your mind goes back to Paul Wellens and how he expressed his dissatisfaction after a magic weekend effort that was similarly not up to scratch a couple of years ago. It's that sort of level.
Well, obviously some stern words have been said, but so far Salford still very much in control. But if there is one team in the Super League that you do not write off at any stage of any contest, it's St Helens. But there'll have to be a miracle if they're going to come back and claim anything out of this match. Notice there that Theo Fage, the French international, formerly with Salford, there he is in the white scrum cap. He is on at the start of this second half as well. Tompkins. They're laying siege to this St Helens line. Robert Louis.
Oh, he's going to be good for Super League, Robert Louis. I watched him in a friendly when Salford played Rochdale, and he really turned the game on its head, and he's done the same from the start tonight.
Delightful little chip into the in-goal area again by Dobson, taken over the dead ball line by Luke Walsh. This is going to be the third set of six coming at the St Helens defence. Can they hold them out?
Brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff. Saints have no answer. And Luke Walsh, we've hardly mentioned Luke Walsh's name.
Apart from when he went to the sin bin.
Apart from when he went to the sin bin and he pretended to have a fight with Ben Murdoch-Masilla.
Oh, what a neat drop out. Oh, and they made a bit of a porridge of it. Murdoch-Masilla left it, and Justin Carney couldn't take it in. Just a slight lack of concentration. Carney wasn't there.
That's probably, Eddie, 50 minutes almost into this match, the first real mistake you could criticise them for. And does that creep in then to 1 and 2 and 3, those errors? There's a danger it can do.
It will do, Phil, if St Helens can score points. If St. Helens get frustrated and they can't score points, or Salford can force an error, you'll just see them grow in confidence. I'm scratching my head trying to come up with it and compare this Salford performance with the performance last week against Hull FC. They really kicked on when Hull FC went down to 12 men, but for the first 53 minutes, it was just one-way traffic. Hull blitzed them. It's changed this week.
Yes, it has. But do they have anything at all in the locker to offer in this second half? Televay goes down again. Kieran Cunningham won 6 matches in a row at the start of last year, is first at the helm. The 8th permanent coach in the Super League era, the first Briton to have the role since Ellery Hanley. But he must be feeling a little bit shell-shocked right now. But can his men offer him any hope here? Well, personally goes without it. That's a knock-on. It's going from bad to worse for the Saints.
And Mark Percival puts that ball down on the floor under pressure from Justin Carney in his eye line. And they haven't been... It's John Wilkin who puts the pass into the path. There's nothing wrong with the pass. I haven't seen Saints play as poorly as this in a long time, and the big fella, Alex Walmsley, he's on the sideline, prowling up and down. I wonder how long it will be before we see him return.
Hey, they weren't great last year. Do you remember at Headingley? Leeds destroyed them and Kieran Cunningham went off on one on the pitch afterwards. I'm going to tune in after this game and want to hear him interviewed.
What was most fascinating, before the game, Brian, he said that they prepared really well. Everything had gone well. They've, you know, that the squad's fit and healthy and ready for the match. So I think he'd be scratching his head more than anybody else to see what's gone wrong. How has it gone wrong?
He did say, didn't he, though, that Salford are 1,000,000 times better than they were this time last year. Well, they certainly are, on the evidence of the 51 minutes or so that we have seen here tonight. With a deep kick from the corner. And a great chase on the way here from 3. Niall Evans leading the way. Jack Owens with it all to do and does it very well.
Oh, he does incredibly well, Jack Owens, under all kinds of pressure. They kick the ball on the 3rd tackle, Salford, prepared to kick and chase. And the young fullback, he finds Percival, and Saints in possession and trying to get a foothold in this game.
And Adam Swift goes inside Robert Louis, but Murdoch Masilla was there. Theo Farge, dummy half, finds Wilkin. He then in turn finds Lama Tazi. They're up to halfway, St. Helens, but on the 4th tackle. Televay. 5th tackle called by referee Richard Silverwood. Oh, and a penalty conceded by Salford.
Well, Logan Tompkins, he's trying to affect the tackle. Has he regained his feet at Televay?
He couldn't because Tompkins had hold of the ankle, didn't he, Stuart, I think?
Is he allowed to put the ball down and try to play it?
Well, Tompkins has moved back into him, hasn't he? And that's what's given the referee the nod to give the penalty, really.
Well, can St. Helens bring a smile to their supporters' faces and to their coach's face as Luke Walsh, 15 metres out, drops the ball off into the path of Lamatazi.
The bigger question is, can Salford defend?
Well, we're going to find out here, aren't we, now? Short pass. Almost. Savelio was stretching. Theo Farge finds Walsh. He finds Wilkin. Short ball from him to Owens. Now Makinson.
Good defence from Salford. Everybody over. Under no threat whatsoever.
Wilkin again. Needs a captain's knock. Savelio. More solid defence from Salford. That's the 5th tackle of this second set that's come at their line. Farge, back he comes to Wilkin. Wilkin to Walsh, nice out the back door pass to Owens. Good defence again though from Murdoch Masilla. That's the turnover. Well, and Ian Watson will view that as a win.
It was a no-look pass on the inside, hoping to find a lazy big man, and Jack Owens got swallowed up by a Salford defence that looks full of energy. Plenty of gas still in the tank for the Red Devils.
Well, it's not a night that St. Helens will want to remember, and we've had cameras all over this ground looking for the St. Helens Chief Executive Mike Rush, because he and his wife Kirsty on the 6th of January they took delivery of their 4th child. Louis Peter was born on the 6th of January. We say congratulations to them as St. Helens concede yet another penalty. And he assures me that Louis was not named after Louis McCarthy Scarisbrooke, but after one of the One Direction.
He's a big fan of One Direction, Rushy.
And so are his girls,
I know that for a fact.
And they pick the name.
He pretends it's the girls that like him.
Welcome to the world, Louis Peter, but it's a night that might rush this night. It's a night that he will want to forget. He's hiding from us, I think, tonight.
Because he's a One Direction fan,
or yes, and look at that scoreline. Maybe that's another reason why.
It's a tough lesson for St Helens, but they've got a big game just around the corner. Let's not forget what's at stake for them. So players, at some point in a game when you realise the result is going to go against you, they play Sydney Roosters, of course, next Friday.
Oh, it's a great warm-up for this, isn't it?
Well, at some point you worry about whether you're going to get in for those big games, and that could be what's going through the mind of St Helens players now.
And Salford travelling in one direction. And that's Dobson with the try. Well, they will not have had a night like this for many a long year. And Michael Dobson, first try of the season for him. He played for the Exiles way back in 2013. Do you remember the Exiles? They're now exiled to the history books. But Michael Dobson isn't, and neither is Salford. This is going to be a famous night for them.
Well, here's the high tackle, the penalty given. Josh Griffin jumps out at dummy half. He forces the penalty. Cervello is seething with frustration, and that's a worry. If you're St Helens and a St Helens defender, to let a half-back stroll through your defensive line, I don't care how many dummies are involved in it. There's 3 players in attendance, and the only direction that Michael Dobson is going is forward and over the try line.
Well, the more I watch this game, the more it reminds me that rugby league is probably more about attitude than it is about ability, and that's been clearly demonstrated here tonight by these two sides. On paper, St Helens have got more players with greater ability, but their attitude has been inferior. There's another kick missed here. They've lost the kicking boots, but they haven't. They really have played so well. The Salford supporters spent so long last season doing things that they didn't enjoy. Well, they'll enjoy this.
Well, his eyes must have lit up, Phil. He threw the dummy, Walsh over chase, but not only Walsh over chase, but Atalia Vea over chased as well. So Dobson, simple task, little step off his left, going back inside. Too easy for a man of his talent and ability. 40 points to 6, Eddie. You're looking at a massacre here of St Helens. How many times have you said that in the history of Super League?
Not very often. Not very often. And the referee is unhappy with the way Andre Cervello reacted to the awarding of a penalty against St Helens. And he's had a little word in his ear. He's ticked him off. And immediately Kieran Cunningham has taken him off the field. But what does this say about Super League 2016, do you think?
We're in for a roller coaster, that's what it says. The Salford Red Devils, they've done their homework. Ian Watson has had the pre-season to put his stamp on the team, get them playing the way that he believes will get him as far up the ladder as possible.
Well, this is a team that finished in the top 4 last year, the Saints, against the team that finished in the bottom 2 last year, Salford. They fought and scrapped for their lives in the middle eights, and there they've come up with maybe their second error of the night. This is a free play.
St Helens were a 40-20 away, Eddie, of getting to the grand final. That's how close it was.
Yes, exactly.
Kevin Sinfield 40-20. So this is a great St Helens side. I think they'll have a good season, but that just allows you to put this victory for Salford into context. This is an immense performance from the home side.
St Helens looking to get through them here with Adam Swift. Oh, and he's slid over the line by Carney. He lost his footing anyway. They celebrate Salford, that defensive effort, just as much as they would have celebrated a try up the other end.
Well, Adam Swift, he raises his eyebrows for Percival. And I think he's realised, with a long way to go on the clock, that things aren't going our way, and it might not be our night. I agree, Brian.
That's a bold statement of 40 points to 6 down.
I agree with Brian, yes. Well,
you're doing your best.
I've been a long time in the game, Eddie. Watched a lot of games. But I agree with you, Brian. I think that St Helens will have a good season. I predicted that they will win the league. They will have such a consistent form that they will win the league. I'm going to add the caveat that I'm only guessing.
I tell you what he will do, Eddie, their coach, Kieran Cunningham. He'll put the microscope on these last 22 minutes to see the attitude of his players. When the game is gone from them, what sort of a performance do they put in? Because you can tell a lot about a player's character in adverse circumstances. And this is St Helens in as much adversity as you're likely to see them.
And it's worrying for them because a week tomorrow they kick off the World Club Series. Don't forget, though, we do have, and here come the details of the World Club Series. Saints and the Roosters next Friday at 7:30 on 1. Saturday, Wigan-Brisbane, a repeat of last year's, and of course it's Wayne Bennett, the New England coach. And then on Sunday, the big one, the World Club Challenge itself, Leeds, North Queensland, Sunday night at 6:30. All those live on Sky Sports 1. And you might also have noticed that we've got this is the first of 3 matches for you live on Sky Sports from the First Utility Super League this weekend. And what a story to kick us off. What a story to kick up round 2 this is turning into.
Well, let's give the credit where it's due. Salford, from the very opening set of 6, they ran harder than their opposition. They've hit harder when it's come time to defend. And there's been some outstanding performers individually in the Salford camp. But as a team, they've outperformed St Helens. And as I said, we turned up to the match hoping we'd get a contest, as we see a penalty from Josh Griffin. He's got his hands all over the ball. We turned up hoping for a contest, and we've got a slaughter.
Well, we've had the best hour of Salford Rugby League for Eddie, maybe the last 40 years.
And the one season, Phil, you've not backed them. You see, you've taken all the pressure off them. That's what it is. And it is the 13th game as Salford coach for Ian Watson. Unlucky for some. Well, it's unlucky for St Helens tonight. Here is Walsh, though. They really are, and they have been from the very first whistle on the front foot. Salford have been all night. Walsh again finds McCarthy Scarsbrook. Salford this time, though, caught offside at the play of the ball. So more pressure coming at them. In the back of this St Helens penalty as we entered the last quarter of this match. Lamatazi will play the ball to Theo Farge, 2 ex-Salford men from last year. Finds Walsh. Walsh then to Wilkin. Wilkin to Jack Owens. He goes down. Under the challenge from Josh Griffin. Josh Jones there as well. Walsh drops the pass off to Ateleve. Smothering defence from Salford, keeping the Saints out. Farge again. Short ball to Walmsley. Walmsley trying to barge his way to the line for his second. Can't get the ball down.
Well, it's going to take more than Alex Walmsley. He came on in the first half, made a huge difference to the weight. Not enough, unfortunately, on the scoreboard, but it's been left to him again.
Wilkin, good ball out wide to Adam Swift, slips over in the corner. Something for the Saints to smile about, but it's a long way home from here. I just wonder whether that will trigger something special from St Helens. We've seen some special comebacks in the past. This would be miraculous, this escape.
The Saints have stripped the Salford defence for one of the few times tonight. It's a lovely long ball from John Wilkin. He finds his winger in space and he just dabs it down in the corner. It'll be a quick conversion and Saints will want to get back down the other end of the pitch, receive the ball.
You're absolutely right, Barry. They've tried that same play on the other side of the field, and Salford have had the answers every time. They haven't been able to pull Salford short of numbers. Salford has slid across quite easily and dealt with the threat. On that occasion, pulled Salford short, Swift out wide. They were able to find him. Walsh conversion here, well, might give them something to cheer about.
And he's pulled it the wrong side of the post. 30 points and 17 and a half minutes to score them in, just to get the draw. Kieran Cunningham, he looks resigned to the fact they're going to lose.
Absolutely, they've been outplayed in every aspect of the game. But while I was doing my little Twitter stint, I was asked why the attendances at Salford weren't as they should be, and I didn't really have a short answer. You know, with Twitter, it's only so many characters. But I think if Salford get a successful team, if they play the attractive rugby league that they played tonight, then the people of Salford will come, and you'd love to see this stadium buzzing, creating a fabulous atmosphere. Well, I live down the road, only 20 minutes down the road in Oldham, and I'd love to come here and watch a successful Salford side.
Absolutely, here to that. Phil will be talking to you on Twitter at full time, so you can join in the conversation. We're with you all the way through this weekend. That's Alex. That was a great run from Walmsley.
Yeah, I had to double take with that as well. Look at him, he's fuming, Walmsley.
They takes it forward. There is only one team I know in this competition who could stage a comeback from this late stage in the game, and we're watching them here tonight in blue. You never write the Saints off. There's a banner that goes around Langtry Park, and it was at Knowsley Road in the old days as well. Never ever write the Saints off.
They're gone. They're gone. They won't win this game. They've been written off officially
by you three. Let's try and keep it going.
Hey, this is about Salford
Keep
now.
the hope.
This is about Salford.
Yeah, I agree, Brian. This has been Salford all day and all night.
It has. Absolutely it has.
There's a big game around the corner for St Helens. Kieran Cunningham, master tactician that he is. He'll work
next week. Let's live in this week.
I'm enjoying Salford, Phil. That's what I'm saying. I trust St Helens to come back and bounce back. Let's not forget, it's Great Britain or England against Australia next week. Not club sides. It's us against them.
You can see which side of the bread your butter's on next weekend. Well, that's, I suppose, true for all of us. But at the moment, it is all Salford.
Well, the English coach makes of that.
This is St Helens looking to try and get themselves back into the match once more with Swift. A quick play, the ball to Percival. Good hit, though, by Adam Waln.
Is there a knock-on? Yeah. Oh dear.
The referee has actually seen that there's a problem for Percival.
Well, when a player just dead set, cold, drops the ball like that, you fear your first instinct is there's a bad injury, and he's not the type of player not to be injured and play on stuff like that. Let's see. Oh yeah, his knee or his ankle. I think it's his left knee or ankle.
I think it is, isn't it? It gets trapped under his body. A little bit similar to how Michael Shanton's body ended up, didn't it? With the knee twisted, weight on it at that point, then pushing it inwards.
Yeah, well, it's the swing of the body that comes down on the back of the leg, very similar to the tackle we saw last week. So it's going to be very
accidental.
Well, it certainly looks like it, but you know, a player swinging around at the back, that's obviously what the match review panel and the disciplinary have been looking at this week. So
isn't it the momentum, though, that swings him into the leg?
Well, it is, but I think you've also got to have some responsibility on the way you come down at the back. Well, like I say, it is a bit of a grey area. There's a lot of people that swing in around the back of the tackles like that. You can see how, you know, the body's going down on the back.
But if he got up and played the ball, there'd been no second look at that. I hope Mark Percival's going to be okay.
Well, it's the same referee that refereed the game at Hull Kingston Rovers last week.
Here's your answer.
And he didn't penalise that
sign. You can see with the pain and the anguish on his face as soon as he went down.
He hasn't penalised this, and off he goes, Mark Percival. You mentioned the England coach who is coming over, of course, next week, Wayne Bennett, with the Brisbane Broncos. Kieran Cunningham believes an England call-up can't really be too far away for Mark Percival. Maybe there are more worrying things for them to concern themselves with than that at the moment. Let's hope he's all right. Walsh drops the pass off again. Walmsley, one of the best runners, hasn't he, for Saints tonight? Really has.
Well, the two lads at the side of me have questioned the attitude of St Helens. You can't question Alex Walmsley's attitude. Yeah. Everything he's tried to do, had to do, he's done to the highest level.
Caught in possession there. Young get Morgan Knowles. Caught in possession on the last tackle, so it's the turnover, 40 metres away from the Salford line.
And that's a good shot from Alex Walmsley as well.
The next thing that fascinates me with the Salford side now is whether they can play for 80 minutes. I know they don't need to win this game, but they'll need to develop that habit if they want to win other matches when they don't have a 30-point lead with just over 10 minutes or so to go. This is interesting here now, whether they can still play as hard and as strong and clinically as accurate as they did in the first hour, now that they're in this final quarter. They did last week against Hull. Very impressive towards the end of the game, scoring 2 good tries. Have they still got the players in the right places? O'Brien now cuts between the 2 defenders.
And Ian Watson will be interested to see how it all goes. I think this might be a penalty to Salford. It is, because Salford have got Widnes here next week at this ground, and Ian Watson wants 2 points just to take the heat out of the situation.
A quick play of the ball from Gareth O'Brien. Logan Tompkins can't get there to pick the ball up. Urgency and hurry and hustle from Walmsley, but illegal on that occasion.
I think we all accept it's a new St Helens side this year. You referenced Kieran Cunningham saying they're miles better, they're light years ahead of last year. As a new side, this is all a learning process. When you're up against St Helens, what do you do in this situation? You might only dream about this, but 40 points to 10. How do you finish out the game? Make sure you don't give St Helens a sniff. This side, this St Helens side, will be learning all these things on the run now.
Well, Salford here, they've spurned the opportunity of kicking 2 points. They fancy their chances to get more.
And why would they, Eddie? They're having a ball. They've absolutely ripped Saints to pieces.
Tompkins to Dobson, short ball from him. Josh Jones, will he have enjoyed this? Releases the pass backwards to Tompkins. He does likewise to Tommy Lee. Lee changes direction, and Morgan Knowles rather gets to him. Tommy Lee to his feet, but gingerly plays the ball. It's with Robert Louis. He's trying to stab the kick through. That's going to be 6 to go. 6 to go for Salford. It is. Louis hangs on under pressure from Theo Farge and Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook. Niall Eccles just pops the ball up to Carney. Devil of a man to stop Justin Carney so close to the line, but Saints do on that occasion. Here is Logan Tompkins. Tompkins with a pass to Louis. Louis then on to Dobson. Dobson into centre field. And Televay is there. Lee to Louis. Murdoch-Masilla standing. Such strength from him. Or was it a bounce ball? Referee hasn't blown the whistle, so he might now, after Saints clear their lines.
Well, I thought this was a try. Robert Louis seems to have all the time in the world to make his decisions.
No try in the field, Barry.
Well, Ben Murdoch-Masilla, with his leg drive, his power, gets as close as he can to the try line, but does he get it down, Stuart?
Well, does his hands on top of the ball. He's got to keep possession of the ball all the way down. Does he get the ball on the ground? Referee Richard Silverwood didn't think so on the field.
That's a try.
Well, certainly looks like a try. His hand just comes down the side at the last minute.
He's got a hand on it underneath as well, though, Stuart. He's got both hands on this.
Well, I think there's enough there to overturn. You can see his grip on his bottom hand, as you say, is still there on the ball. And I think when that ball hits the floor, that's a try.
You only have to find the frame, don't you? When you go to the video referee, you'll only need to find the freeze frame. And I think one of the danger men running out wide has got himself a try for Salford.
Is this the 8th Salford try tonight?
I'm going to say yes.
Just listen to that. 8 Salford tries if this is given against St Helens.
Let me just put in the caveat that the video referee has to find absolute proof that the referee's wrong.
But surely there's a hand underneath it.
He's put the ball down over the try line.
Well, he's obviously having some difficulty with the top hand, as whether it's still on the ball.
If his right hand's not holding that ball, I mean, at least.
I think it's a try. I'm only putting the video referee's point of view that he has to have absolute proof.
Well, we've seen it given a million times. Here's the decision. Well, we've seen it given a million times, but not tonight.
Well, it deserved a try, put it that way.
But he's got both hands on it.
And he's got 5 Saints defenders around him. I think it's a try. I thought it was a try.
Well, the most important man who thinks it wasn't a try was video referee Phil Bentham, so there's no argument now. Here it is, real time, and it doesn't look a try on real time, normal speed. But hey, 40 points to 10. Salford will be saying, who cares? It's only 7 tries, not 8.
Hey, when you're in a game like this, Eddie, you just want to keep scoring and scoring and scoring, because you've been on the wrong side. As we said, back in 2010, not too many of these players would have played in that match, but the history, there's a known turning up to this ground tonight, exactly what's in front of them, and the prospect of the potential of St Helens' side.
I bet Trent Robinson and the Roosters are glad they're not playing Salford next week.
Let's get down to Bill. We've got news of Mark Percival. What is it, Bill?
Well, it doesn't look good. There he is, in actual fact, just getting to his feet, and with the crutches, it's the left knee, it's heavily iced. He's going off to the dressing room, and that just puts the tin lid on what has been a miserable night for St Helens. And it's hard to see him featuring in the World Club Series next weekend, and he's been one of their better players tonight. Their former player, Mark Flanagan, has enjoyed this game against his old club. Well, he was enjoying it until he got a bang on the head. He's on the sidelines. He's having to see out the rest of this game. Well, I say see out. He's actually suffering from a bit of blurred vision at the moment. I suspect that's what his former teammates are suffering from as well.
Well, they might be suffering a little bit more here, because once again St Helens make the break, and Natalia Bay could have been penalised then.
Logan Tompkins has been very good since he's come on. Very smart around dummy half.
This is Wong again. Adam Wong, score of the first try of the second half for Salford. Dobson, Josh Jones. What does it mean to a player to face his former club so soon after leaving them and come on the end of a scoreline like this?
It means probably vindication, an affirmation that you are a good player. Sometimes you leave a club, sometimes you choose, sometimes they choose. It doesn't matter what the circumstances. You want to make sure that you remind them what you're about, what style and quality of player you are. And Michael Dobson, he's proven what style and quality of player he is.
In the past, Salford have had a lot of good players. I think they're now becoming a good team, and that's probably more important. Tonight, when you've watched this game, you wouldn't say, oh, it's because Michael Dobson's done everything, he's controlled it all. The mix between Robert Louis, Dobson, Tommy Lee, Logan Tompkins, Gareth O'Brien, so many players have made an equal contribution to the overall team's performance, and that's why I think they are so impressive here tonight. Obviously, they've got 40 points on the board, but the balance and the way that they've played as a team in defence and attack has really impressed me.
I couldn't agree more, Phil. The methodology that they've used, and you take that Michael Dobson kick, what he's done is chose to apply the pressure and just keep building that pressure on Saints, make them defend under stress. He just absolutely loves and is enjoying his night to the full.
A little bit of history we're watching tonight for Salford. This is their first ever win on this ground against St Helens. It's been 5 seasons in coming.
And am I remembering right, Marwan Kukash was a St Helens fan?
Dab to the in-goal area of the Saints. And Jordan Turner getting in a bit of a tangle before he takes it over the dead ball line again.
2 in a row, Eddie. 2 in a row from Dobson's kicks, and he's making it very difficult. This one he manages to keep on the ground. For Turner sweeping around, he's hoping and praying that that ball will bounce up into his arms and make it easy for him. But when it stays on the ground, it forces him to play at it and knock it dead. That's all down to the kick of Michael Dobson.
4th goal line dropout that Dobson and Salford have produced tonight. And the fans in the shed, isn't it, the way to our right-hand side, are chanting, Steve-O, Steve-O, what's the score? Of course, they don't know that the old boy is not with us tonight.
They'll have to shout loud, Eddie.
They will. They will. He'll be listening, he'll be watching, have a smile at that.
Well, he'll have to shout loud then.
Adam Waln again takes the ball forward in collision. And Logan Tompkins gives it to Robert Louis. He finds Murdoch Nasilla. Tompkins waits again as there's a bit of a tanglement there with Masala and Wilkin. Louis to Dobson. Short pass. Good charge onto it as well from George Griffin, and they get the penalty, Salford. Will they run this, or will they kick it for the 2 points?
They're going to run it, Eddie. They're going to run it. George Griffin, in his haste and hurry to play that ball, forces the penalty. And they've another 4 or 5 tackles to try and score a try.
Tompkins down the middle, looking for the runners. Good solid run again from George Griffin. Tompkins wide to Dobson, short ball from him. And there's a possibility for Josh Jones. Back it comes to Dobson. Dobson then to Louis, and Louis attacking them again. Oh, well claimed by Theo Fage.
Yeah, Theo Fage, he didn't really have much option. He had to gamble. Robert Louis, as he's done for most of the match, finding space, he offloads the ball, and the young French halfback is just available just to pat it up into the air and snub out the threat.
Wilkin tried to delay the pass, did delay the pass almost fatally. Swift has got pressure all over him from
Evil's gone
Niall Evills.
I thought he'd stolen it for a second then, Niall Evills.
Lamatazi, not a happy return to the old hunting ground for him, or Theo Fage. What a solid hit from George Griffin. They've been good tonight, haven't they, Salford? Great in defence, Quicksilver in attack, they really have. It's the story of the weekend, no matter what happens tomorrow or Sunday. Just slightly.
Just a little bit.
It's a system malfunction, isn't it, that?
Adam Swift, he's over on this left edge. He's trying to find his supporting runner. It's Louis McCarthy, Scarsbrook. He can't find an accurate pass. More possession for Salford.
If and when Salford have difficult periods during this season, and their supporters will hope they're few and far between, but if they come, they need to put this back on. Sit everybody down in the team meeting room and put this video on again and watch what they're capable of. Because it's been an outstanding performance. Bearing in mind who they're playing against, this has been an incredible performance from the Salford Red Devils.
And 1-17, Brian, not just, as you say, not just an individual. I mean, we've got to pick a man of the match, but not just one individual. That could go to all 17 of them.
I think Phil said it. There's been a couple of really smart bits of play, but there's no magic that we would have expected when Rangi Chase was there, or maybe Gareth Ock or Corey Patterson. There's a team effort here. All very good players, the ones I mentioned, but this is a team.
He's cut in off the right wing a few times tonight. He scored 2 tries. Last year's top try scorer is at it again.
Well, look at the celebrations from the Salford players. Logan Tompkins jumps out, goes to the short side, and Robert Louis, who I think has been exceptional tonight, dabs it behind the line, and Niall Evills, absolutely 100%. This is Salford's night. Look at that scoreline, 44 points to 10.
Can Dobson make it 46? Well, you have to go back to 2010, of course, for the last victory against St Helens. 42-34, that was a close run thing. 20 points to 10, 2009. 30 points to 20, 2004. 39-26 in 1997. This is only the 5th win in 38 Super League clashes with St Helens, and it is their biggest over the Saints by a mile, ending an 11-match losing run against the men from Langtree Park. A great night for Salford Red Devils, for Ian Watson, for his team, for Tim Sheens, and for Marwan Kukash. Well, they've missed another kick. But who cares? 44 points to 10.
Well, they'll be having a party in the shed after this one, but they still, I suppose, want another 6 points. If they could get 50, well, it would be their biggest dream ever to come true here. Niall Evills, prolific try scorer last season. They get him on the field, whatever position, he's going to get across the try line in one way or another and score some points. And it's great to hear the Salford supporters who are here, raising their voices here. This hasn't happened very often in the last 20 years. But boy, they've been good tonight, and I hope they can continue. It's easy to win sometimes when they're the underdog. They went into this game with very little pressure on them. I wonder, as the season grows, if they can develop the same hunger and attitude when maybe they are fancied to win a few games at home.
Well, it's Widnes next here next weekend. this is Adam Waln once again. They're going to see out the last minute. Kieran Cunningham, it's a night to forget for him. It's a night to remember for Ian Watson.
Early kick, they kicked on the second.
Great kick too, but he was 1 foot over the line, was Jack Owens. He knows the rules. He pointed that out to Richard Silverwood. Restart on the 20. And away we go. It's academic really, with 20 seconds remaining on the clock.
Ian Watson must be so proud of his team. And we said we can't separate the Salford players. We can't decide who gets the man of the match. Ian Watson, for his leadership, his management. He must be in with a shout, Brian.
No comment.
Last 2 seconds of the game. Full-time Saudi sounds. Walsh just punched the ball over the touchline on the far side. He knows his side have been well beaten tonight. Ian Watson will be absolutely thrilled to bits about this. A new team, a new culture and a new era at the Salford Red Devils. And this is the first step in a building block for him and for Tim Sheens. The first step, and who knows what might be at the end of it. If they can play like this more often than not in 2016, this will be a year to remember. But that's the big question. Can they perform at this level week in, week out during the first utility Super League season? The man of the match, well, the decision has been made.